Hi, my name is Meinhard Benn, and I'm a cypherpunk, and I'm currently working on Freedom Browser. Yeah, so Freedom Browser is an interface for the Web3, and more specifically the decentralized part of it. So like the D-Web, decentralized web. And it really came out of the need for an easy-to-use interface for anything that's D-Web. So it could be IPFS or Swarm. So these networks exist, they host content, and they are mature. But I found it very difficult to kind of view content. Uploading is okay, but to view content and to display it in a meaningful manner, I was really imagining like a web interface. And it didn't really exist, especially with crosslinks. So then I just kind of prototyped around a little bit, and I built a very simple proof of concept browser, and I gave it sort of a placeholder name, Freedom Browser, and that name stuck, and I think it really transports exactly what we are doing. And in the meantime, Florian also joined me and contributes to the project. And it really, what it does, you can enter like an ETH domain in the address bar, and it does everything in the background, and it's a node. Which directly connects to the D-Web. So there's no gateways. It really, your computer becomes a node, and the browser kind of just translates that to a very easy to use interface. Decentralized networks at the moment are often accessed through centralized gateways, therefore defeating the point and putting back the control to the gateway in forms of censorship or like even reliance. So if that gateway is down, it doesn't work, right? So, and one big mission of Freedom Browser is also to resolve this oxymoron of like being centralized while trying to be decentralized. And we talked about theater later, kind of making the theater of pretending to be decentralized reality so that it actually is decentralized. And we're on a very good way for that. We're building applications that have the whole stack decentralized, so you cannot pull the plug. And that's, I think, super important. And it will happen, and we're trying to push that as much as possible. Also, I like how crypto winters are always creating a sort of a shakeout of people that are really just focusing on the monetary part of cryptocurrency and blockchain networks or decentralized technology. It really gives an opportunity to be really focused, free from distraction or mostly free from distraction, and come together with people that really share these values hardcore and that build through, they hodl and build. You know, that's really the opportunity that we have right now at the moment. We know the next hype is just around the corner, and now we can kind of build really good stuff that will then be accelerated and launched into the stratosphere by the next hype. But we're building the engines and the rockets right now for the spaceships that will start in the next hype. So I was doing cypherpunk things since the early 2000s without kind of knowing that term even. I was just kind of doing encryption for NGOs, writing open source code, and setting up my own server project with encrypted and environmental hosting, kind of solarpunk ideas. And then I founded my company, and I worked for like 10 years, really hard to build that. And then a few years ago, I exited operationally. And I looked back into things that also matter for me. And then I came back to sort of my hacker roots. And I got contacted by a friend to join the cypherpunk retreat last year near Berlin. And there I got in contact with the cypherpunk scene again much more. And I saw that some needs are still the same. And specifically the conversation with Brewster Kahle of archive.org, where he described the need for an easy-to-use interface to the D-Web, which brings everything in one app, like reading, writing, uploading, and kind of also having an identity element. And I was like, okay, that would be cool to have. And I looked around, as I said earlier, and I didn't really find it. And then I just built it myself. So the inspiration really came from there, and also being around these people again. And shout out to Jaromir, which really kind of, he called me, and I was like, he didn't call me in years. This must be important, so that's why I joined the camp. So the cypherpunk retreat near Berlin last year, I really liked because it was a very select group of people that are really hardcore focused on this mission, and everybody was there with a purpose. And I was kind of quiet, mainly an observer in most conversations, and but it was really inspiring and really gave me this urge to build something. And I also like the kind of activities outside the hacking, kind of the ride on the boat and these sort of things. That was really cool to connect to people. And the location was amazing, very quiet, very retreat-like, very much removed from the city. And in general, all these conversations and just a very different vibe to a conference. It was very, very much focused on building and having concrete outcomes, building new connections and teams, and the laser sharp focus. I think that's the one thing that I really, really liked about this. So for me, privacy is, it sounds a bit cheesy. It's a human right, not cheesy, but like it's a bit of a trope. But it really is. It kind of exists for me like air. And I naturally have these, let's say, habits that keep myself private because I know technology coming from the very early ages of the internet, and I saw how privacy was more and more undermined. It started by default being very private, and then through obviously all the corporations, things got really, really data mined, and that's one thing. Then governments really, took their own turn and undermining privacy. So in essence, it's like bringing it back to the original roots and kind of making sure that this has a solid foundation, technical foundation, but also good UIs. And privacy should be something that end users don't have to think about. It should be supported also by regulation to a certain extent, but people should always have the choice to do that. And privacy is important. This usual, I have nothing to hide. I think people are now aware that it's more about the behavioral change, that if you are observed by someone that you have, even like without knowing. So if someone looks at you with a camera, you will not scratch your bum or you will not pick your nose because you kind of censor yourself. This is just about kind of things you do, but think about like forbidden thoughts or the kind of critical of the current government or the system you're in or the future government that might be in that space where you are right now. You have a big need to kind of do things, just for yourself and share it with friends. And this always needs to be preserved, and you need to be able to and be anonymous and not followed with every single step that you do. So what does it mean to be a neo-cypherpunk today? For me, it's a loaded term. So like there's so many concepts in there. Neo, like the new thing, and ciphering. For me, it's just being what I always was, hacking open source, using encryption tools. Now, as a relatively new addition, using cryptocurrency and making sure that it's private. It's using these tools, building these tools, and distributing these tools for free. So also Freedom Browser at this point doesn't have a business model, and it's not really a company. It's a project around an idea that needs to exist in the world to give access to already amazing decentralized networks. So my favorite privacy tools are VPNs. So a VPN is great. It keeps a certain privacy. I don't use Onion too much. No particular reason for that, but I really like it and like what it offers to the world. And also cryptocurrency is a privacy tool if you use it in the right way. If you use a transparent address system, maybe not. But if you have sort of zero knowledge addresses, it becomes very, very private. And also the private tab of the browser. It's a kind of good privacy tool sometimes as well, just to kind of be disconnected from your history to at least to a certain extent. The biggest challenge in building a browser is the multitude of features. So it's like it's easy to become bloatware because there's so many people that want this. They want like the bookmarks to behave this way. They want support for this network, support for that network, just for everything to be as lean as possible, and kind of deciding what should be included, what shouldn't be included. I think that's the biggest challenge because in a way there's all great stuff and you want to support it, but there's only so many hours in a day and so many hours that one does coding or one does vibe coding. That is a challenge. So technical challenges I don't think exist really. It's like one person once said to me, it's software, everything is possible. So I kind of really believe that and I can feel that. There's currently a temporary challenge I would call with centralized gateways to query the blockchains. So you have these RPC endpoints, but it has been a big topic also at this year's EthCC to make this decentralized or even completely decentralized. So that challenge is being solved by others. But for me, it's really like this social challenge of deciding what to include. The positive outcome of all of this, let's say the cypherpunks win. I think to some extent they have already won, but the world doesn't know it yet, is that there's these bubbles of privacy and kind of complete freedom where we can build things in a safe space, if you will, and export it into the mainstream. So you have that, and the mainstream kind of picks it up and does something useful without even knowing that they're doing this. They just feel more freedom. They're like, oh, suddenly I have this great publishing tool, it costs me nothing. Or suddenly I have something that cannot be censored, or I can use this currency, this new money. I can use it everywhere in the world. Just kind of introducing kind of on a subtle level these freedom tools and doing it with software and not being disrupted, but also that kind of leaking into other parts of life, as it already has done. Like the idea of open knowledge through Wikipedia has, for example, Wikipedia, or like first open source, then Wikipedia, has really gone to many levels of technology, but also beyond that. There's open law, there's open design, and many other open technologies that have adopted cypherpunk values without knowing that they are, and kind of having that continued, and maybe even going into politics as well, where politics are more fair and transparent, and therefore whole societies can be governed by cypherpunk values. I would think that would be a quite nice goal to achieve.